Hi there. There is a lot of money in agriculture. In fact, for most countries out there, agriculture plays an essential part in this country's economy and progress. To give you an example using Kenya, agriculture accounts for over 20% of Kenya's GDP, that is the gross domestic product. And in fact, agriculture employs 40% of Kenyans. When you go to the rural areas, it is more pronounced because the rural populace, 70% of it is employed through agriculture. That tells you there is a lot of money in agriculture, and in fact, lots of money is circulating around this sector. That's why, if you are business savvy, you can look into ways through which you can also make money in this sector through business. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss with you 10 business ideas which you can look to jump into in the agribusiness space without you necessarily doing farming. Yes, guys, you can make money through agribusiness without really having a farm or even knowing how to farm. Let's talk about that in this video. You are all much welcomed to the Money Daily YouTube channel. My name is Afagzaz Sifuna. By the way, if you're new here, kindly consider subscribing. Subscribe to this channel for you to be getting such awesome videos regularly. So, the first business idea you should look to jump into agribusiness without you necessarily doing farming is the business of leasing farming equipment. Yes, guys, most farmers out there are looking for means through which they can farm without sweating that much, because we all know farming is hard labor. And in case there is equipment which can make the work a bit better or a bit easy, then most farmers out there are gonna be willing to pay for them to be able to utilize such machinery and be able to farm more efficiently. And we're talking about, for example, you leasing different equipment and tools which are essential in farming. To give you an example, like tractors, okay? And maybe other equipments out there, you name it, whatever kind of equipment which is essential in agriculture, why not have this equipment and be leasing to farmers? You're gonna realize, by the way, guys, you'll be able to make good amount of money through these. And in fact, you're bound to have reliable customers who are gonna be coming for these equipments to ensure that they farm more efficiently, right? And then a second business idea you could look to jump into is you jumping in the transport sector, specifically in the agriculture space. We all know there is lots of transport business going on in the agribusiness space. For example, transport of farm inputs, transport of even fertilizers, transport of the farm produce. This tells you that there is unlimited opportunity for someone to make money in the transport business in the agriculture sector. So, check the ways through which you can possibly make money in this space and specialize in one of them. For example, you can specialize, for example, in transporting a given kind of agricultural product. You can even, for example, specialize in transporting fertilizer to different parts of a country where you live in. Why not look into this and be able to make money? And in case you are able to get a good number of clients out there, in this context, talking about farmers, or even we're talking about different companies which are facilitating farm inputs out there, be sure you're gonna be in very big business, which is very profitable. And then the third idea you could look to jump into in the agribusiness space without necessarily doing farming is you doing farm produce marketing. Guys, one of the biggest gap in the space of farming is how farmers are able to access profitable markets out there. In case you can position yourself to be able to solve this problem, which actually is a problem which is shared across many farmers out there, then be sure you're bound to be in very big business. You can start this by, for example, just seeking clients out there first who who are willing, for example, to purchase a given farm produce, and then jump the other side of the market, the side of supply, and talk to farmers who are producing quality of that product, and ensure you link the demand side and supply side, and be sure you're bound to make good amount of money. Because by you marketing farm produce, even you could end up, for example, gaining 20% or so of the value of the produce which has been produced easily by you just linking the farmers to the right market, which is very profitable, which ideally every farmer out there is looking for, and they won't hesitate really sharing part of their profits with anybody who can assist them sort the market challenge, right? And then the fourth business idea you could look to jump into in the agribusiness space is the idea of selling different farming and monitoring technology to farmers out there. Guys, we're living in an era which we can say technology is advancing real quick, a digital era, and so also farmers out there are seeking ways through which they can make farming and even monitoring of their farms more efficient. How they go about, for example, monitoring the level of water in water tanks out there. How they, for example, monitor the level of pH in the soils out there. How they, for example, monitor even an infestation of maybe birds or even insects out there. All these are opportunities for you to be able to link solutions to the farmers out there and be in big business. And by the way, for these, you don't really need to be an innovator per se. You just need to know what innovations are and also know how to pitch these innovations to farmers out there. And you could just be in a very big business of selling farming technology to farmers out there, and in fact, be able to make good amount of money, right? And then the fifth business idea you could look to jump into is the idea of agriculture consulting. Just like consulting in any business out there or any sector out there, also agriculture is a very massive sector. And in case you have massive know-how with regards to a key aspect of agriculture or even broader aspects in the agriculture space, why not start agriculture consulting? To give you an example, a very basic example which happens in the agriculture space, which is actually consulting but through public service, is, for example, government having extension officers who are working with farmers and cooperatives out there to see how to advise farmers. So you too, in your capacity as an individual, why not do such kind of consulting gigs out there as an individual? And you're going to be shocked, for example, through you pulling a number of farmers together and providing consulting services to them, you're going to just be able to be paid good amount of money because of your massive knowledge and different problems you're assisting them solve in a particular point in time. So look into agriculture consulting, and also you could be able to make good amount of money. And then the sixth business idea in this space which you could jump into is the business idea of agritourism. Guys, we may assume that people out there know, for example, how farming happens, or even how people go about planning their farms, for example, to demarcate a given area of a given crop, other areas of a given crop, or even how do they go about doing rotation and stuff like that. You could link different big farms out there with agriculture tourists, which, by the way, is a very big thing. A lot of people, for example, in urban centers out there don't have an idea with regards to how agriculture happens. And in fact, they'd be willing to pay some money to go and witness firsthand how agriculture happens, right from preparation of land, growing of different crops out there, harvesting, preparing for the crops to go to the market, you name it. Why not start this kind of service whereby you're linking the curious people out there with different farmlands out there for them to be able to see how agriculture happens. In essence, agritourism. And you're going to be able to make good amount of money through this business idea. And then the seventh business idea which you could look to jump into in this space is the idea of you executing farm produce processing and packaging. Take a scenario, for example, you have two people. All of them harvest potatoes from the farm. One of them just puts the potatoes in a vehicle and takes them to the market directly. They're there, for example, with the soil and all of that. And another person, for example, ensures they clean these potatoes and even package them in different bags, and they go out there selling. Chances are the second person is going to make more money. So because that is a simple version of value addition. In essence, packaging of the produce and ensuring is in good order. And with that, they are able to make higher margins compared to the first person. Why not be the facilitator of processing of farm produce and also packaging? You choose depending on your ability and also depending on the market and the gap that exists in the market. and you're going to be able to make some money in addition to what the farmers out there are selling their different produces for. The market desires to have ideal packaged products in high quality, and even quality, guys, is based on perception. Because, for example, if someone sees something is dirty, they may assume it's low quality compared to something that's kind of been processed, it's looking in better shape. So jump in this space of processing and packaging, and possibly you might end up making good money, and in fact, maybe turn that to a very formidable business, right? And then the eighth business idea you should look to jump into in this space is the idea of exporting agri-produce. The export market has lots of money. In fact, to give you an example, compare, for example, the market in developing countries and developed countries out there, you'll find that the price of different commodities out there in developed countries are very expensive, mostly because of the consumer price index and the cost of living there. But if you can find a way, for example, of getting produce from your country to another country, or even from a given region to another region, you could just end up making good amount of money. Of course, you penetrating this market won't be easy. You need to align yourself, even, for example, be part of the farmers supplying this commodity first, and then try to understand how they go about exporting, and in no time, you'll be in the business of doing exports. And just to give you an example, for example, you could find, for example, an avocado, just a fruit, from Africa, from the farm to the market, could cost somewhere around 30 cents. But once it goes, for example, to developed countries out there, the same produce will even cost over 150% of its value in the developing market. It is very crazy. You could even end up, for example, making 1,000% profit of you just jumping in the export space. So look to jump into it if you can, and you're going to end up having a very formidable business out there. And then the ninth business idea you should look to jump into is the idea of you distributing fertilizer. We all know fertilizer is an essential farming input. Farmers out there are looking for fertilizers to ensure they have their soil in the right state, they have their crops getting the nutrients which the crops require for them to grow appropriately, and all of that. Why not be a supplier of fertilizer? In case you can assist farmers out there be able to access quality fertilizer and at fair prices compared to what they access, for example, in the nearby agrovets, be sure you'll be able to make a killing in this space. And that's all because fertilizer is a minimum requirement for farming, more so at large scale for most crops out there. So in case you have know-how with regards to how you can be able to source fertilizer from a given source and at scale, hence driving down the price and taking that fertilizer to farmers out there, don't hesitate. Jump into that space, and you might just end up making good amount of money and even building a sustainable business. And then, guys, the 10th business idea which you will look to jump into in this space is the idea of you doing agri training. In essence, training masses out there on agriculture. You're gonna be shocked that farmers, decision makers, and even normal citizens out there want to gain knowledge with regards to farming practice. They want to gain knowledge with regards to the best side of farming. In case you're knowledgeable on all this, why not start organizing forums out there through which you can be disseminating knowledge to masses out there through agri training. You can start even, for example, offering this for free, and over time start charging. You might just be able to start making good amount of money in this space. More so in case your knowledge is very pristine and is very actionable, and even people out there can testify that the knowledge you've shared with them has been able to revamp their agricultural practice. Be sure this is also an opportunity for you to be able to make good money through agriculture. What do you all think about these 10 ideas? You don't really need to have land for you to be able to make money through agriculture. You can also capitalize on other areas beyond the actual farming practice and be able to make money. Thanks a lot for watching. I look forward to share with you other awesome videos next time. Bye bye, and you all take care.